Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go back at you with another one. My boys Vlad and Barry. What's good, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Excited as always to be here and ready for another great episode. We're on to episode 53. This is a big one for us since it's close to the 1-year anniversary of our first episode that came last year.
Actually, this episode will be coming out one day before our 1-year anniversary, since the first podcast dropped everywhere out there. So this is a big show, man. Episode 53. So I'm thinking Josh Uche right now,
Yes.
who is the former what's his name? Boy, that's coming back to the Patriots.
Calvin Noy.
Calvin Noy, yes.
We even got another Patriot as well, another Patriot great, Larry Izzo.
Larry Izzo, special teams great, forever remembered. That's all he ever played. Except the occasional
linebacker,
linebacker, you know, in emergency situations, you know. But he did well, though.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely. He had a good career, I think, you know, for sure. So he definitely did his thing. Another person I'd even say, I think it was Mike Pouncey, the one.
Mike Pouncey, he just retired.
Yep.
He just retired.
The Steelers. So, yeah, he was 53. So, yeah, he had a good career as well, even though he never won a Super Bowl or anything. But, you know, he played for, for about, 12 seasons, I want to say, and definitely did his thing. So, yeah, I think that I don't know if there's any other 53s, at least that I can think of off the top of my
Pouncey,
head.
I remember his last, you know, the last scene there when the Steelers lost, him and Roethlisberger on the bench. Roethlisberger's like, I came back for you, man, you know, and it was like borderline crying on the bench, man. That was crazy. You know, and then Juju came by.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
I saw that. Yeah.
Juju's like, I'm sorry about the Corvettes, guys. Like, you know, the Corvette got to his head, you know what I'm saying? So he had to apologize about that, you know, before the game ended there.
Ray doesn't know what you're talking about.
He has no idea what I'm talking. You don't know the Corvettes, bro? Juju Smith in the dance?
Oh yeah, no. I do doing him doing the TikToks. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I knew. I knew what you were saying. Yeah, no, that I knew that's what they call the Corvette, the dance that he was doing on the TikToks he used to do in the middle of the field before the game. So, yeah, I saw a meme even about that like, you know, was about him going up to both guys, Big Ben and Mike Pouncey, and apologizing, and they just didn't want to have it. They were just like, bro, get out of here. Like, we don't want to talk to you, man. Like,
bro, we're old.
Season.
We're old, bro. Like, you're a young guy.
Yeah, right. We ain't about the TikTok life. Exactly. That's your generation. Yeah.
You mess around too much.
Right. For real. Seriously. So, yeah, no, it was pretty funny.
For sure, man.
To say the least.
On to episode 53 we go, but before that, so we're about to come on to the 1-year anniversary, man. We've been dropping episodes consistently on a weekly basis. Any part of what we've been doing so far that's the most memorable to you?
To me, I don't know. Most memorable. I don't know if I have a most memorable. I think I would say dropping the podcast, really. Just getting it started was exciting. And I think the best part of it is just our consistency and being here every week and haven't missed a week yet.
Right. Knock on wood.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's
on the wood too.
They say sometimes the journey is the best part of achieving the goal. So I think coming here every week, talking about sports, and not missing a week, like I said, and being consistent is what's best about this.
For sure. Barry, yourself?
Yeah, I got some things that were memorable to me, through our year of doing this podcast. I'd probably say the episode we did about the last draft. I thought that was pretty funny. That was a pretty memorable episode, as well as the one that we did at the Kush Groove shop. Shout out to Kush Groove. I thought that was pretty cool being able to do it in the episode in a different location that we've done it. So that was a nice experience and moment to have. That I'm definitely grateful for. And then what's it called? I think probably my favorite episode would be from the line that I dropped when I said that these Patriots receivers can't get separation from a parked car. I think that's probably my favorite episode, my favorite line that I've said. I even remember that episode. It was episode 30, I believe. And it's crazy what 23 episodes after that and still doing our thing. So just love that doing what we're doing, and love talking sports every week with you guys. It's definitely been a pleasure, and definitely appreciative and grateful for this opportunity and to be able to do this every week consistently without taking it off is definitely been impressive, and something that I'm glad that we've done, and I'm looking forward to continuing this journey with you guys. So I think those would be my favorite memories. Oh yeah, now another one was when I called out Jamal Adams and the Jets and said, "Who the fuck wants to play for the New York Jets?" I thought that was a pretty funny line in episode. So those are my favorite memories from the podcast so far.
Yeah, I think I share both the stuff with you guys. I think the dry runs that we were doing, to get it ready. I think most of all it's like the learning process. You know what I'm saying? Because we came from we never recorded nothing before. You know what I'm saying? The figuring out, the mixer, how to put that on the camera, finding equipment, getting audio guys for help and stuff like that. The Kush Groove experience was dope. So shout out to Ernst and the Kush Groove over there. The guys that came from Flickr, that was pretty cool. You know what I mean? That was a cool episode. We had a pop-up shop. You know what I'm saying? I think, like Vlad was saying, it's just a journey, man. And, what we've been building something, and it's been going well. And I think, like we always say, it's about the work that we've been doing. And, we don't celebrate too much, you know what I'm saying? But every time we get a milestone, I think it's good to celebrate a little bit. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised none of you guys mentioned the interview with Mikey.
Bruh.
Oh yeah, shoot, that's another one. Yeah, good point, man. How could we forget about that? Yeah, that was being the biggest guest that we've had.
That's the biggest interview we've had up to this point.
For sure.
NBA Buzz. Shout outs to them, dude. Such a big platform to have us. Not even a year in, and they came on. Mikey came on and partnered up with us and stuff, and It's pretty dope. It just says, you know, what we're doing is working, and you know,
Right.
we're guys that just like to work, so that's what we're gonna keep doing. You know what I mean? So happy 1 year anniversary. You know what I mean? I think on Wednesday we're gonna try and do a live since that's the actual you know day that we dropped, and it's the actual day that we dropped a year ago, our first episode. So catch us on the live. You know what I mean? With that said, please follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, profans_sports. We're on Twitter.com/profansports. We're on Facebook.com/profansports. If you like to watch these YouTube videos, YouTube.com/profansports. If you're watching now, please make sure you press the subscribe button, the notification buttons, and make sure you're on the lookout for these episodes. And as always, we're going to get into the NBA, the NFL, MLB, NHL, B-Money Lifestyle Person of the Week. We got some questions from some people this week, so we'll get into all of that. You know, we don't want to talk too much because there's a lot of stuff going on, especially with the NFL, you know, free agency and stuff. So let's get to it, man. NBA. There's a lot of stuff going on in the NBA. Second half, like we mentioned last week, started. Some big news, you know, that actually happened this week since the last episode. LaMelo Ball fractured a bone in his wrist, and you know, that was terrible. I seen that. He will be out for the remainder of the year, and that's very unfortunate because he was the Rookie of the Year front runner, I think, by far. You know what I'm saying? I think Anthony Edwards was definitely inching closer, but it wasn't that close, you know. But now I can assume he'll probably end up with that trophy unless they do like co-Rookie of the Year or something, you know. But yeah, he's out for the remainder of the year. LeBron James is expected to miss several weeks with a high ankle sprain. So that happened in the second quarter of the game against Atlanta Hawks. His ankle got rolled up on by another player, and you know, it's unfortunate because Anthony Davis is out for the Lakers as well. And there's no timetable for those guys right now, so we'll keep you updated on what's going on with that. Some new faces hitting up some other places, like PJ Tucker. He made it to the Bucks, and now him and Giannis don't have to defend each other anymore. You know, and I saw that game the other day, and he looked like you know, he was making impact plays, so good for him. But he got traded to the Bucks for guards DJ Augustin, forward DJ Wilson, and the Bucks' first round pick in 2023. So that's a good price for a PJ Tucker. Myers Leonard. You know, if you guys might remember, we actually reported about him last week where we talked about him using an anti-Semitic word. And since then, he has been traded to the Portland Trailblazers, I believe. No, actually, he got traded to OKC for Trevor Ariza. So for a second-round pick in 2027. That's a long time from now. And these guys, the OKC
from now.
OKC's racking up picks like I don't know how they're gonna use them.
Seriously,
I don't know how they're gonna use all their picks.
For real, yeah, they're gonna have to trade some of them away because they've got too many picks to be able to use. I thought the Celtics had a lot of draft picks and stuff, but shoot, they ain't got nothing on OKC. Yeah, man, it's crazy how many picks they got.
Yeah, man. Vlad, you were saying something?
Oh, they're gonna move back to Seattle.
Are they?
No, I don't know.
Stop playing. Actually, that would be dope because I know Seattle really wants a team back over there. So, I mean, I say leave OKC where it's at and maybe get another team out there.
Nah,
no expansion teams.
Seattle Supersonic, man. I don't know why they moved into OKC.
I'm just saying though, like OKC seems to be supporting their team pretty good year in and year out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
they got a pretty good arena.
I don't like I wouldn't want it to be 31. I would they would have to do 2 expansion teams to be like 32 to make it even.
Yeah,
right, yeah, because they wouldn't want an odd number of teams. That would make sense. So.
Yeah, get 32 teams. You know, put one in some odd ass place like Delaware.
So let me ask you, Delaware. This week. So if they move
Delaware, what?
if they make a team, if they bring back the Supersonic, what's the other city that you would like to see a team at? Quick, very quick, since we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. Damn. I don't know. Somewhere, Oregon?
Maybe Arizona?
No. Trailblazers, right? Is in Oregon?
Yeah, Portland, Oregon. Yep.
Maybe
the Trailblazers over there.
Maybe Arizona or something?
Arizona.
No,
Phoenix. Like New Mexico or some shit. I don't know.
You know what I was thinking Vegas.
Okay, Barry, that's a good one. That's a good one.
They're already the Vegas Raiders and the Vegas Golden Knights, the hockey team. So
that's a really good one, Barry.
You know, right? That would make sense. And they have the summer league, out there too as well. So
okay. What about Maine?
I'm thinking that could be another.
No. All right, that's it. Let's move on. I think Barry won that one. That was
for real.
Right.
No, Vegas is definitely a good one.
I'll take the W on that for sure.
I mean, I said Delaware. You guys didn't like Delaware. So.
Bro, Delaware?
Delaware? What? Have you even been to Delaware?
It's like, what the hell is in Delaware?
Yeah, I don't know. What
I've actually been out there, and there's legit nothing there. So, I don't see any sort of sports franchise being built, over there. Right.
You know, you got to cue in Joakim Noah. Who the hell wants to go to vacation in Delaware?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Joking. He said that about Cleveland. So more news. Kevin Durant, he's expected out 1 or 2 more weeks with a lingering left hamstring situation. He's been out since before the All-Star game. And, I mean, right now it seems like, they're not telling us, the truth about what's going on because, he's been out for a while. But I know hamstrings are tricky. And he's he's a tall, lanky dude.
He had the injury last year, so I think
the Achilles.
Yeah, they're being very careful with it, which I think it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, Atlanta Hawks have won 8 straight games since Nate McMillan took over as head coach. That's pretty good. I like Nate McMillan, and he's been doing a good job so far. They beat the Lakers, the last game they played. So we'll see. I seen they're taking on the attitude of Rajon Rondo over there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because he got into it with Dennis Schroeder the other game when they played the Lakers. That's right. So now they have definitely been playing much better. The Atlanta Hawks. Rondo's even playing better himself and starting to play more minutes. And so I like what I'm seeing from John Collins. He's a really good, young player and a good piece. Trae Young's doing his thing as always. So that's, no surprise to anybody now. But no, they got a nice team over there. So I'm glad that Nate McMillan got another opportunity to be a head coach, and he's taking, full advantage of it. I hope that they end up hiring him, in the offseason and giving him a contract to be the next head coach.
We'll see what happens, man. And the Houston Rockets, man, they're on a 20-game losing streak. They had a new
20 straight. My God.
Right. They have a new coach, I believe Silas.
Steven Silas, right.
Steven Silas, and things are not looking
head coach, right.
Things are not looking good over there, man. He could be out of there pretty soon if things,
I don't know, because this is his first year, so you gotta at least give him 2 years. Especially this is only his first year with the Rockets. It's his first year head coaching, and it's crazy because he's been an assistant coach in the NBA for about 20 years. So I don't think it's fair, particularly with the team that they have. The team's an absolute mess, the Houston Rockets. So I think they at least got to give him another chance and give him at least another year to be able to, get this ship right. And, and
we'll see what happens,
play
man.
The team.
we'll see what
hopefully
happens.
the team plays better, right?
Right.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, for a first-year coach, and I feel for him because he's a black coach, and I want him to do good. So we'll see what happens with him. And on to the Celtics, man, which is what we mainly talk about when it comes to the NBA segment here. So a couple things happening with the Celtics. They haven't been playing well, obviously. Since the All-Star break came back, they've won a couple games, and not like against, the best teams in the league. Games that they should have won, and then some games that they should have won, they've lost anyway. The team right now looks bad, you know what I'm saying? Because they're 500 right now?
Yeah, exactly.
They're 500 right now.
21.
21-21, and some things are going around, right? So they played since the NBA came back from the All-Star break. They played the Rockets, which they've won 134-107. That's like a G League team right now. They played the Jazz, and they lost 117-109. They played the Cavaliers, which we should have won. They lost 117-110. They lost against the Kings 107-96, and then they won against the Magic 112-96. Jaylen Brown had a career high in 10 3-pointers made in the game. So, what is going on with the Celtics? Like, what are you guys seeing? Why have we been struggling lately? And, what are your thoughts?
Well, the Celtics are not playing defense. They're not putting the effort out there. They're just not playing with urgency, and they're not playing together on offense and defense. On offense, there's a lot of ISO, as there's been all year, and nothing has been made to correct that. On defense, guys are missing. They're just not communicating. They're not playing defense together. They're not switching. They're not switching when they need to switch. They're not running back on fast break. It's just the effort is just not there. I mean, I don't know what to say. I think it's on the players, but I think it's also on the coach. I mean, all year guys are just not playing together. It's just, I don't know. It's a very disappointing team to watch, especially against the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are not even a team that nobody should be losing to. And coming into that game, those guys were not playing with urgency. I think they were expecting to beat the Cavs, and they didn't play with the oomph to beat the Cavs. They thought they were just gonna get on the court and beat the Cavs.
They're not a team, to be losing to and stuff, but they play hard. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the Cavs.
Yeah,
the Cavs, they play hard.
They do.
They play hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, they're not that great. You know what I mean? We should have won, but you're not going to beat any team if you're not playing hard yourself.
Exactly.
Especially if you don't have the talent to be able to get away with that. And we clearly
You can't slack, bro.
Yeah. It's just we have a couple of guys that excels every night, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. But besides that, the team is they're just not playing together. It's a really bad team to watch. I try to watch every game, but it's not. I'm not excited to watch the Celtics. I'm not it's just not exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly with you on that, Vlad. It's been a very frustrating, season with the Celtics, and I think at this point they are what they are. They're just not a very good basketball team. They're a mediocre basketball team. At best, they don't have much talent, outside of their two All-Stars. I think it's pretty much a two-man team, and and they have a couple of nice pieces like Robert Williams, who's been playing better and stuff, and Payne Pritchard's been contributing as well when he's on the floor, and I think even and Kemba Walker when he plays has been done well, but he's been inconsistent and just not as good as we expected him to be. But I just think this team definitely lacks, depth, particularly in their bench. They're not really getting any production from their bench outside of, Robert Williams and Ben Pritchard. I don't, I'm not seeing really anyone else, step up and play well. Even Marcus Smart, since he came back, he hasn't been playing well and giving the team the spark and the, boost that we thought, he would give them. He definitely, in a couple of those games that they've lost, he, made some poor, shot selections and poor decisions at the end.
Oh, Marcus?
Yeah.
Not Marcus. He never does that.
Oh, John, don't say that. I know you're
no, not Marcus.
But I don't. I hear what that's funny, but he certainly hasn't been playing the best since he's gone back. I know he hasn't played in a while, but I just thought that with him being back and the team being fully healthy, they would be playing better, and they're just not. I think it's a lot of things that are going wrong with this team. Certainly, guys not being able to score. Particularly when they put the bench in. There's no scoring outside of our really top three guys. I think guys just aren't they're just not being consistent like Vlad said with their energy and with their intensity. They're not bringing it every night. They're playing down to their competition, and it's clearly showing because games like the Cavs and the Kings, they those should be, wouldn't say automatic wins, but you should win those games if you actually play the way that you're capable of and supposed to play. And they clearly didn't. They thought they could just show up and go through the motions and win the game, and they clearly don't have the good enough team to be able to do that. So I think certainly they have to change something and look to do something at the deadline, even if it's not a big move. They just have to be able to at least get a piece and get somebody that can help them in their rotation, because they don't really have a very good rotation right now, and a deep
maybe an Aaron Gordon, because he just asked for a trade, right?
Right. That would certainly help.
That's another
right. That would be a good piece that could certainly help this team play better and and give them some more athleticism and another guy that could score for sure, and give them size. So I think it's just it's just a team that's kind of lifeless right now, and a team that just really it seems as if they don't really care, and they don't really play with any pride or any heart. Particularly when they get down in games, it's like they give up too easily. So I think those are the issues with the Celtics, and unfortunately, unless if they make some changes to the roster, I don't see this this season going any different than what it's gone for them. I think they are what they are at this point.
Yeah, I think I go back to what Vlad always says, and we always laugh at it. Then he ain't tried to fool us with Jeff Teague and Tristan Thompson. I mean, if you think about it, man, that's
oh god.
Basically, that was it, because what's his name? Gordon left, and then we got Teague and Tristan. You know what I mean? And both two veterans that really haven't done shit up to this point, for this team. You know what I'm saying? Tristan Thompson had a couple good games, but not really huge impact. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Teague, he's very hot and cold. You know what I mean? And
Streaky,
turnovers,
absolutely.
streaky sometimes. Sometimes he's hitting what he's supposed to.
He's
Sometimes,
more cold than he is hot.
exactly. And
That's
it looks
true,
like,
right?
listen, man, Jeff Teague was a dog a few years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
5 years
you know,
ago.
Yeah, when he was in his prime, exactly.
You know, he was a dog back then, and he used to be one of the fastest guys on the court at all times. And you know, one of the first things athletes lose is that speed. You know, after a while, and you know, it's kind of happened to him. And you know, he just hasn't made like that big of an impact. Our bench, man, we don't have a bench. Like, we really don't have.
We really don't. Besides Robert Williams, who should actually be starting.
Even Robert Williams, you know what I'm saying? Like, even he's not like very consistent. He's been consistent the last few games that he's played
lately,
to the point,
late, yeah.
Right, to the point where people are asking for him to be a starter. But like, can you trust him to, you know?
I think I agree with Barry. I think I would like to see him start.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see him start too.
I think at some point, young players, you don't get to see what they're made of until you actually give them the opportunity to start. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he's always coming off the bench, then you're always gonna get that bench, whatever he brings off the bench. But if you start him, he might have a different impact on the game. So I actually would like to see him start.
Right, and we have 3 stars, man, that should be able to score, you know, when they want to, but that hasn't been happening. It's been pretty inconsistent for them. And if our stars score less than 20 points in any given game, like, we're not winning the game. You know what I'm saying? Because where else is the points coming from? You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody else we have that can take over games anywhere on this roster. You know what I mean? If 2 of our stars have a bad game, we're gonna lose the game. If 2 of them is not having like a really good game, and that means like 25, 30 points, you know, a piece, we're not gonna have a chance, you know, just because like we don't have anybody that can cover that slack. And
I think one of the things that we kind of miss sometimes with the Celtics is the guys are scoring and it's great, and we need Jaylen Brown, we need Jason Tatum to score, and we need Kemba to be Kemba, but at assist, like, this team doesn't average a very high number of assists, and I think we're not gonna be a good team, we're not gonna be a good playoff team, we're not gonna make it past the first round of the playoffs until that assist number starts going up. It's about making the other guys better, you know. I think it's about making Robert Williams better. It's about making Ojale. I think Ojale's been so much better this year. I'm not saying he's
been
great.
solid.
I'm not saying he's great or anything, but I think the other guys can help him be better. You know what I mean?
Ojale's done his part this year.
Yeah, so I think
he hasn't been completely trash. He's at least contributed. Right,
I think we need to see those assist numbers go up for sure.
Listen, I think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum scored like 15 points and like 17, 18 points in one of those games that we lost, and it was like, if our stars
against the Cavs, it might have been that
something
Cavs
like that. They scored very low, and I'm like, you know,
it's ain't gonna cut it. This is not gonna, not acceptable and going to get it done. Right?
If we have one star that goes as hard as Colin Sexton does every night, I think this team would be all right.
The worst part was you lose to the Cavs, right? And you're like, okay, that sucks. Like, this is bad. And then the next game, you're like, okay, you're playing another sucky team, the Kings. And we lose to the Kings too.
Yeah.
That was depressing.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
I hate the press conferences after. The team's not having fun right now. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right, y'all getting paid millions of dollars. Like, bro, I don't care what's going on, man. Share the ball. And like, I mean, it's a surprise to me because, you know, Brad Stevens always preaches about, you know, getting the ball in the right hands. Yeah, I mean, finding the open man, and this year it's just not happening at all. You know, it looks like they miss guys like
Horford.
Al Horford. I seen him like being proposed as a trade now. You know what I mean? From OKC, because you don't hear about Horford either.
I actually take him, to be honest, because
I would take him too.
We
for real.
need that ball movement, you know, and I think.
Listen, give the ball to Al Horford. All right, he can. He'll take it up.
Isn't he too old? Wait. Like, as much as it might be a good idea to bring him up, like, you'd really want to see someone like that, you know, come back to the Celtics as that old and, you know, doesn't really move well. We saw him with the Sixers, and I get that wasn't a good fit with the Sixers, but he didn't really look good. He doesn't look like the Al Horford from a couple of years ago when he was on the Celtics and he was playing, you know, really well and, and an all-star caliber player. I think a double-double guy. I don't know if he's that same.
I think I want him. I don't need him to start necessarily. I just want him to teach those guys ball movement. I just want him to be in the offense, like maybe coming off the bench or something, just to improve the ball movement of the team. It's just not happening right now. Right now, what do you have that's really creating that ball movement that we need? Like, we don't really have anybody.
Right. The offense isn't flowing.
Al Horford would come on this team and start right now.
Yeah, I don't need him to score. I just need him to improve the team's chemistry, improve the team's ball movement on the offense. That's all I need from him.
Yeah, and I think you made a valid point, Barry. You know what I'm saying? Because he is older now, but I don't think any team has used Al Horford like the Celtics used him since he's been traded. You know what I mean? I think he's had to adjust to different roles, different positions. The ball's not in his hands at all. You know what I mean? And I think we've used Al Horford differently than any other team he's been on so far. You know, even the Hawks. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's fair.
I feel like that's why he loved playing here until, you know, they waved that money in front of him. You know, he's older. You had to take that money. You had to go.
Right. You had to get it while you could. Right.
I think he regrets it. I don't think he's enjoyed his last couple of years in the league since he's.
No, he doesn't look like he's happy at all. No,
man.
For sure.
I think it would be great to see him back. But in other news, Danny Ainge is saying that they're probably not going to use a player exception this year. So that means offseason we go with this player exception. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, there's nobody coming here.
That's crazy. So what? We're just gonna either not make the playoff or get eliminated round one or something?
Right. It seems like it's gonna be a waste.
Or not even round one. We're gonna get eliminated the playing game because there's a playing game this year.
Right.
Yeah.
They're doing that just like they did in the bubble. Right. I know that's
very disappointing to hear. That just tells me there's nothing to look forward to for the Celtics.
Yeah, there's no help. No help is on the way, guys.
That's ridiculous.
I think that's definitely a disservice.
I hope he changes his mind on that.
Fire Ainge tonight.
Fire Ainge. You think the Fire Ainge hashtag is gonna go back up?
That's my hashtag. Like I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck who else doesn't put it up. I've been on that train for a little bit now. I've been telling you guys I'm okay with.
No, you said that on this podcast.
I've said that before. I know what I say sometimes. You know, you're just like, I don't know where Vlad is coming with this. You know, last year I was like, I don't know about Brad Stevens. Y'all run after me.
You know what? Since you're on that right now, there is a question from Afontaz and from Mattapan. He's one of our supporters.
Yes,
and he
my
asked,
man right there.
When will the Celtics get rid of Danny Ainge?
They should tonight. I don't know.
Vlad, would you give him a ride to the airport if they fired him tonight?
Well, I think his family lives here, so I think he'll stay in Boston. I think he'll stay in Boston. But no, I'm just tired of Danny Ainge. I think he's been here for like 20 years or something like that.
He's been here a while now.
One championship
it's been a while.
One championship in 20 years doesn't do it. It doesn't.
Is there anybody else with that kind of tenure right now as a GM in this league?
Yeah, because not a lot of teams have been winning championships,
and we haven't either.
That's true. So I'm the same boat as the majority of the teams.
You know what I don't want to be in the same boat as the majority of the team in the league.
That's what we're saying.
Aren't we the Celtics, the winningest club in NBA history? You know what I mean? Aren't we supposed to?
Well, we're co-winningest.
Yeah, but aren't we supposed to be like the top dog? Top echelon. You know what I mean? So let's be that. And right now we're not getting that with Danny Ainge. It's honestly not happening. I mean, I don't know if I would have done a better job than Danny Ainge, but I'm not getting paid that much. So that's not me. But I expect more.
When will they get rid of him?
That's fair. Shoot, I think it'll at least be at the end of the season before he goes. I think they're gonna. I don't think they'll fire him in season in the middle of the the regular season. I think they'll wait until the off season in order to do that. If he is gonna go, but I certainly think if this team misses the playoffs or if they're one and done, which it looks like there's a good chance of that happening, then he should go and Steven should go too. I feel like they should both go together. If one gets fired, you might as well fire both of them at the same time because I feel like they're hand in hand. They correlate with each other. So I definitely think at the end of the season, if we continue to see what we've been seeing with this team and they don't play better and don't go past the first round, then you're right. He has to go as well as Brad Stevens.
Do I think they will fire him? No. I think he's the Celtics for life, to be honest.
Okay.
Even if they don't make the playoffs, Vlad,
that was actually.
Or if they lose in the playing, game,
yeah,
I don't think the Celtics with management in front office would really let him go.
I agree with Vlad, man.
I don't think so.
That was going to be my point. It seems like Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens have made themselves a part of the good old boys club. You know what I'm saying? It's like these guys are they're in concert with each other. And, when things come out, one of them is taking shots for the other type of stuff. It looks like they're comfortable with what they're trying to do because, Brad Stevens just got a contract extension last year, y'all.
Yeah.
Brad Stevens is not going anywhere.
He can't go.
He's not going anywhere, man.
But I know I hear what you're saying, but what we've seen from this team is they've gone from an Eastern Conference finalist when the 3 of the last 4 years to now a mediocre team within one season. Something has to change, guys. We can't bring both guys back and bring the same team back next year and expect for things to change and to get better. Something this offseason, if this team doesn't make
Brad
the playoffs.
Done a terrible job?
Yes, he has.
He's done a terrible job since he's gotten this season. So how many seasons out of the whole time Brad Stevens has been here has he been doing a terrible job?
1 year. I'll give him one
year. You know what I'm saying? So it's
unacceptable
we can't.
By Celtic standards, it's unacceptable for this team to be playing this way, and he has a lot to do with that, John.
That's by Boston standards, because any other team would want a coach like that right now, because he came in, he had the struggles, he overachieved in a lot of the seasons. You know what I mean? We were just in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, so he's not having a great year. And look at how the team is built. It's not like he got every, you know what I mean? He doesn't have major all-stars.
He has a lot to do with that, though. He has something to do with that. He has say in the personnel decisions with the team. He works hand in hand with Danny Ainge as far as the roster and the guys that are on this team. So that's what I'm saying. We've got to hold him accountable. And if we continue to see what we're seeing, he should.
What do we always say, though? What do we always say? This stuff doesn't fall on the coach because, at the end of the day, the players got to go out there and play, right? The coach maybe schemes you or win, a few times a year, but other than that, what are we using them for other than managing what's going on in the team? I think I agree.
Doing that.
I mean, we can't just like fire coaches off of one bad year, is what I'm saying. That's why
This
I
is
don't think.
horrific. I think bad's an understatement, John. This is an horrendous year.
Yeah, I think
I
Barry's a
don't.
harsh critic.
Yeah, I don't think
Barry's a harsh critic.
I would get rid of Brad Danny Ainge before I get rid of Brad Stevens. But
I think so too.
But we are running over time. I think we should move on. But Danny Ainge before Brad Stevens goes.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of that, we were talking about Brad Stevens, right? Going in, the rumors came out that I think the Indiana job, the head coach of Indiana Hoosiers, opened up, and there's a lot of rumors that came out that Brad could possibly be leaving, and he came out and pretty much refute everything. He called himself a masshole, that he's a Patriots fan, you know what I'm saying? So he's not leaving for the Indiana coaching job. Tristan Thompson, he's been out due to contact tracing for the COVID stuff. The trade deadline is on the 25th, which is this Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. And I think the last question about Danny Ainge, right? Are there any similarities between him and Coach Bill Belichick?
I'm going to let you guys take that one.
Shoot, I don't even think it's fair to compare, those guys, and I don't think they're on the same level. I think, Belichick is far more superior than Danny Ainge. That I don't even think, that's a good comparison to compare the two guys. So to answer your question, no, I think Belichick is far better, and in terms of managing a team and not only getting assets, but also, getting talent. I don't think Danny Ainge has done a good job, in the recent years and getting, talent for this team. And I think that's a big reason why the, Celtics are in the position that they're in, because of the lack of moves that he's made. And then also, letting, people go and not getting anything in return. I think, certainly Belichick, only person you could really say that is Tom Brady, that, he let, someone go like that and didn't get anything in return and ended up costing him. But outside of that, I think, Belichick's done a better job than Danny Ainge. And even though he's made his mistakes too, but, definitely not as much mistakes as Danny Ainge has made in recent years. So I don't even think you can compare those two guys, because Belichick is so far ahead of Ainge, where they're not even the same ballpark and level at this point.
Yeah, for sure, man. So we got 6 chips in 20 years and then 1. So,
For real, exactly. No comparison.
The similarities there, it's not much, but I definitely think the only similarity I see is, the lack of team building from both coaches and, both GMs the last year in the team. You know what I'm saying? Bill Belichick last year's football team and Danny Ainge this year's basketball team. I think they both whiffed on, making the right moves, making the right choices. But other than that, there is definitely no similarities. The Celtics got a big stretch coming up. They got I think 5 games, 6 games. No, 5 games in 7 days.
7 nights, yeah.
Yeah, 7 nights. So the Celtics versus Grizzlies, versus the Bucks twice, versus OKC once, and then versus the Pelicans. And we'll definitely update you guys on the next episode on the games that's gone on. Well, let's shift into the NFL.
Oh, guys, one last question in regard to the Celtics. I don't know if we answered this, but will they make the playoffs, or should we save that for another episode?
Right now, the way they're moving, it's the Celtics, man, and I think, we have a good enough coach to try to, bring things back around a little bit. So I think we will make the playoffs, but far in the playoffs? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we'll make the playoffs. I think, like John said, I mean, we have 2 all-star and a half on this team because right now Kemba is a half because he's basically, I don't know, he's just not Kemba right now.
Half
But
man.
Yeah, we'll definitely make the playoffs because this is the Eastern Conference the Eastern Conference after all. But if we miss it, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I think that's fair. I think they'll certainly make the playoffs. If like this team is too good not to make the playoffs, and you have 2 all-stars on your team, like you definitely gotta find a way and and definitely make the playoffs. That's unacceptable if you don't make the playoffs with 2 all-stars like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So I think they'll definitely find their way in the playoffs, but I don't even think that they'll win a round. I think they'll be out in the first round, and yeah, it'll be a pretty quick exit for them. But they should be able to get into the playoffs.
Hey man, the Celtics have proved us wrong before, and hopefully they
I'm
do
wrong.
that.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm hoping I'm wrong this time too.
We did not see them going to the Eastern Conference, whatever, last year. So
that's true. We didn't. So we'll see how the season goes moving forward.
On to the NFL, man, where there is a lot going on in the NFL, mostly because of free agency. The free agency period opened up, and there was a flood of, deals that happened, concerning other teams as well as the Patriots. We actually did a recap on ProFans_Sports on IG last Wednesday, where we talked about some of the moves that were made by the Patriots. If you'd like to go watch it, it's on the live there. So please go check that out. But some NFL news, man. A lot of guys are moving around. Some guys are staying put. One of the big receivers, Kenny Golladay, signed with the Giants, so he'll probably be making $18 million a year now with the Giants. I think he signed for like 4 years, $72 million. Juju Schuster is back with the Steelers. He chose to stay home, and he took less money as well to stay with them. I don't know if that's foolish or what, but he's going back to them. Ryan Fitzpatrick has signed to the Washington football team, the former Dolphins quarterback, as well as every other team.
I was about to
like
say,
in this league, like
former every team in the league.
Right, exactly. Like, dude's played for like 9 teams. Like, seems like he's almost played for like half the league. Seriously. Yeah, like,
I thought he was gonna come to the Patriots and make the the trifecta or whatever. Because
the AFC East, right?
Yeah, complete the cycle. I mean,
he played for did he play for the Jets?
He played for the Jets. He played for the Bills. He played
for the Dolphins, right?
I'm like, damn, what if he comes to the Patriots? And I mean, we don't know yet. He might be here next year.
If he ends up playing another year, right? We'll
this guy,
see what happens. But good for Fitzmagic that he's in DC and playing with Washington. I actually like that move. So
yeah, he seems like a free agent every single year.
Because he signs 1-year deals every year. So that
I like it.
Sense.
Listen, you give me $10 million, you give me 10. I'll take 10. I'll take 10. You know what I mean? That's
right. He's just collecting the bags at this point, which I don't blame him.
Listen, I'll teach these guys.
So I'd be collecting too. I'd be getting every bag I could get if I were him.
I'll teach these guys how to play quarterback. Deshaun Jackson signed to the Rams. Former Eagles wide receiver. Hopefully he can have a healthy year because it's been a while since he's had a healthy year. Hopefully this is it for him this year. Kyle Fuller, former Chicago Bear, has signed to the Broncos. Philip Lindsay actually signed to the Texans. So the former Broncos running back. I think that's a good move. It seems like the Texans have every running back in the league now. They got Ingram. They still got old boy, what's his name?
David Johnson,
and now they added Philip Lindsay. So
Yeah,
Should be a really good backfield.
yeah, for sure. Good, good moving, good, depth piece to add to their backfield. I wonder how they're gonna make it work with, all three of those guys. But I know David Johnson's always same thing with Deshaun Jackson. They're always hurt. They never stay healthy. So it makes sense to have depth at that position for the Texans.
For sure. Mitch Trubisky, we spoke about him, and I told you guys he was going to find a place pretty soon. He signed a 1-year deal with the Bills, and subsequently Andy Dalton signed with the Bears, which is a move I really don't get.
Me
because
either.
I would much rather Mitch Trubisky over
Andy Dalton. Facts. Exactly. It's like they downgraded.
From what I've seen, Mitch
Trubisky. I don't know. I disagree. I think first of all, I think they both suck. And
yeah, they're both trash.
It's like picking potato and I don't know.
Check this out. Last year, the Bears got Nick Foles, right? Mitch Trubisky started 2 games, went 2-0, and he threw an interception. 3rd game, they decided to put Nick Foles in. 2-0, and you decide to start Nick Foles, okay? So Nick Foles comes in and he becomes trash and gets injured. Mitch Trubisky gets back in there and takes them to the playoffs. You know what I mean? I don't know much about Mitch Trubisky, but he's not like a 10-year vet or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a young
quarterback, right? He hasn't played that long in the league.
But it might be a situation where you have to hold his hands, though. Maybe you have to say, toward to number 10, toward to number 12. But no matter what, the fact that he signed with the Bills with no opportunity to be a starter tells me all I need to know about that guy.
Listen, I know that we've shitted on Mitch Trubisky, but I think the Bears kind of like screwed him over. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like
I'm with you on that.
He's a capable kid because of what they did to him. Like, how do you bench a guy that starts 2-0 for you?
I think whatever they see. This is the guy. This is the guy that's signing with a team that has a quarterback that he has no opportunity to start. Why would he sign with the Bills?
Because there's nowhere else to go.
Oh no,
he didn't get any other offers.
Where else are you gonna go?
I would have if I'm any quarterback that's like, what do you call that? That's competitive, that wants to start, that wants to play. You're not gonna sign with a team that has they have like a young quarterback. There's no opportunity for you to like learn anything. Like I would never go there.
I think the opposite, because now you have an MVP candidate in Josh Allen, you know what I mean, with the quarterback's coach over there. That's a chance to learn because like Mitch Trubisky didn't have anybody to learn from at all.
That's a young guy. I mean? I would go somewhere. I don't know. I would go with to any like the Panthers need a quarterback. The Jaguars need a quarterback. Like there's teams that need quarterback. Right. There's teams that have veterans that I would rather learn from. The fact that he goes to the Bills tells me all I need to know about this guy. That guy would never be my quarterback.
The Jaguars are not going to sign him because they want Trevor Lawrence, and you're not going to have a former starter in front of Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean? That's why they're trying to get
not in front of him. Just I'm gonna go somewhere where I might want to start. I'm not gonna go somewhere where I know there's no chance I'm starting.
I think, in my opinion,
it's just not where I'm going.
It's a good move for him because he gets a chance to learn, sit for a year, and listen. He signed a 1-year deal. Next year, he's gonna be on the open market again, and there could be guys looking. Maybe. And I feel like the Bears owed him because he saved a lot of jobs by getting them into the playoffs. You know what I mean? For the first time in a long time. Like this guy's done a better job than like Jay Cutler, you know what I mean, Rex Grossman in his short time being
Mike Glennon.
You know what I'm saying? Like in a really short time.
They had a whole bunch of bums at quarterback.
What I'm saying is I think they gave up on him way too soon. I think they really like tried hard to give him a really bad rep. And I mean, the last few games he played on the Bears, he was really good. But not to stay on Mitch Trubisky. I think good luck to him. But Andy Dalton will be their starter now, and you saw what he did with the Cowboys, and I'm like, I would much rather.
Oh boy,
And
that's what I'm
with
saying. That's a big downgrade right there. Like, what are they doing? Like,
listen,
you go from Trubisky to Andy Dalton. Like what? Like,
I mean,
are
Andy
you kidding
Dalton
me?
wasn't a terrible quarterback for the Bengals, but that time's passed now. You know what I mean? It's been a while since
Exactly.
he's been that good. You know what I mean? And
Facts.
Mitch Trubisky, he's still a young guy, still learning. And I think we should look at the coach, what they try to do. You know what I mean? Dude, if
the coaching is trash.
if Cam Newton
and I'm in the Bears, they
if
have
Cam
no
Newton
coaching.
gets in the playoffs last year, I think we talk about him a lot differently than we talk about him now. You know what I mean? You have a guy that
even
actually
as
got.
bad as he played, John. Even
I
as
think-
bad as Cam Newton.
You don't think we
played
look
last
at
year?
him a little different
A little bit, but not
if he got
much.
into the playoffs?
Not much differently with
But-
his poor
but different.
performances last year.
But different.
I'll give you that a little differently,
Right.
but not much differently.
Right. Michael Brockers signed to the Detroit Lions. He was the guy that actually said, we finally got a good quarterback now since Matthew Stafford came in, and now he got traded to the team that his old quarterback got in, which is the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff. So he had to make like a quick apology, to Goff, saying that, he was just trying to get the fan base hyped and all that stuff. So,
Oh, is that right?
yeah, he got traded. Will Fuller got traded to the Dolphins, the former Texans wide receiver. Chris Carson's re-signed with the Seahawks. The running back is staying there. Justin Simmons signed a 4-year deal worth $61 million with the Broncos.
Ooh,
Corey
that's
Davis.
the bag right there.
Right.
That's the bag.
Corey Davis signed with the Jets. Adam Gase, man, he's helped.
No, he's fired.
No.
Robert Saleh.
I know. Adam Gase helped out Corey Davis a lot. You know what I mean? Because he was with the Dolphins with Ryan Tannehill. Fucked that up, and Ryan Tannehill got sent to the Titans, and then Tannehill helped Corey Davis get a couple good seasons, and now he's getting the bag in Gase's former place. So it's like, the cycle continues.
It's like a cycle. I didn't notice that. That's a good
Right.
point, John. I didn't
Right.
even see that.
So he signed with the Jets, and I don't know why he did that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
there was
me
other
either,
teams.
man.
Listen, Allen Robinson accepted his franchise tag to the Bears, and he heard Kenny Golladay was coming in for a visit. He's like, "Oh shit, let me sign right now before the market dries up." You know what I mean? So he's back over there. Jameis Winston signed with the Saints. Janoris Jenkins, who was with the Saints, signed with the Titans. Taysom Hill signed a 4-year, $140 million deal with the Saints. I believe we actually told him that news last week, I believe. But we'll tell it to you again. Who cares? Kenyon Drake signed with the Raiders. Joe Tooney signed with the Chiefs, the former Patriots lineman. I think he signed like a $80-something million deal, and these guys don't get deals that big, that lucrative. Trent Williams.
And especially a guard. They
Right.
usually doesn't get signed, so good for him.
Right, good for him. The left tackle signed back with the 49ers, so he'll stay there. Emmanuel Sanders signed with the Bills.
It's another good move.
Another good move for them. Possession receiver. Seahawks do not want to trade Russell Wilson, so people should put those trade ideas.
Well, they got like three first round picks or something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they said no, that's crazy.
From the Bears, right? I remember they gave him a huge offer, and they're like, "Nah, we still don't want to trade."
I think that's the right move. Once you have a franchise quarterback, you don't trade him away.
Well, they better do what they got to do
to keep him happy,
to protect him and keep him happy. You know what I mean? The Saints were punished for a COVID-19 violation. They got a $700,000 fine and lost a 6th-round pick. And lastly, man, really huge news. Deshaun Watson, the quarterback from the Texans, right now he's their quarterback, and he's been seeking a trade. And, since he sought that trade, he's landed in some hot water recently where, a few lawsuits have been filed against him. Some sexual allegation lawsuits. So they're saying that he allegedly sexually abused some women, some sexual misconduct with the women, a few masseuses around the Houston area. And those complaints are stemming from like pretty recently, as recent as earlier this month and, as January. And the story is that, while he's in these parlors or wherever he's at getting these massages, he behaves, in a way that men should really not behave with the women. And, he right now is facing like 12 lawsuits, since it's been reported, up to 12 lawsuits. Wow. And alleged allegations from different women. I believe his attorney is something Busby, and he's a Houston-based lawyer. Came out and basically explaining to the people that, hey, this is for real, and we got to listen to the victims of the situation. Deshaun Watson has since, he's denied everything. He says that he's always respected women, and he's gonna work to clear his name. It's really not about the lawsuits; it's about his name. He's not looking for money, none of that. He doesn't care what's happening. He's just trying to clear his name. And this is something that's really not new for the NFL, unfortunately. We see these situations happen all the time, not to bring them up, but most recently, Antonio Brown, who just won a Super Bowl. So I know you guys seen the news, like, because I know Deshaun Watson has been mentioned to, the Pats have been mentioned to be interested in him, or, a lot of the fan base want him, deservedly so. And of course, why wouldn't you want Deshaun Watson? But, since the news came out, like, how do you guys feel about that? I know a lot of the news and a lot of the fans say stuff like, this is happening because he asked for a trade. You know what I'm saying? Based on other things we've seen happen in the past in the NFL. How do you guys feel about that? And, just your thoughts.
I think these are very serious allegations, and that we should be listening to the victims, and that if there's no place for men to behave like this, and that any allegations that are coming true should be listened to, and we'll wait for the legal procedures to go through, and whatever comes out of that, we'll talk about it. I'll talk about it then. I know that I'm not glancing over the fact that those allegations are coming out right when he asked for a trade. I think there's definitely a motive behind those allegations coming out when they're coming out. But no matter what, if those things that happen, if he committed them, there's no place for that. And and whatever comes out of those legal procedures, we'll talk about it then.
I think it's unfortunate that these allegations have happened and transpired. I definitely take them seriously as well. I will admit, at first I didn't so much, just because I thought it was just these women trying to get a quick cash grab and get a bag. But as the number kept going up and increasing throughout the week, then I'm like, oh shoot, like maybe this is more serious than I initially thought. And maybe and these women must be saying this for a reason. If it's up to 12 now, like you just stated, John. So I think it's definitely unacceptable for any men to treat women like this. And I'm certainly with Vlad on that. Like, there's no excuse and no reason of why, this should, be happening, by any man, professional athlete or not. Like, it just, men just can't treat, women like that, point blank, period. So, I think it's, terrible that, these allegations have come up and added up to the amount that they have. I hope that, I hope that they, if they are true, that the women do get, the justice that they do deserve to get, if, it is, really true what ended up, transpiring in that situation with Deshaun Watson. But kind of glad, so we'll wait and see how the rest of this, legal process goes, before we can really comment on it any further. But I just think that, it was a really unfortunate and sad thing that happened, and that it's really gotten to this point. It's really bad. So we'll see how the rest of it goes.
Yeah, I mean, these things definitely like scare me as a man. That's definitely a position I never want to be in. So I definitely like respect women, and I don't ever want to be associated with nothing like that. You know what I mean? And the number of allegations, like they give you pause. You know what I'm saying? Like 12 people is a lot of people.
It is,
it's like,
absolutely.
It comes to a point where it's like, well, if 12 people are saying you did this and one person saying no they didn't, like, who are we gonna believe? You know what I mean? It's like, damn.
Right,
but at the same time, like, I understand these things happen all the time where these guys are, falsely accused of stuff, and it happens. It's unfortunate. If that's the case, I hope whatever happens, if he's guilty about this stuff, then he gets his punishment. But if he's not, like, people involved should get their punishment as well. And I think it's only fair, but I certainly think victims should be heard, at all times, no matter what happens, as a father
even if it's one, even if it's just one victim,
right? As a
absolutely
father of a young lady and stuff, like, I definitely want her to be in a position to be heard and be taken seriously as to whatever is going on. But I definitely think it's an unfortunate situation all the way around. One thing I don't agree with is, like, this is not a criminal lawsuit, right? So this is not something where Deshaun is going to get, like, arrested and put in jail and stuff like that. So this is like a civil thing where they can hash it out in court, and, he can give, like, a monetary thing to, like, settle it and stuff like that. And that kind of stuff kind of, like, irks me, because it's like, what about the victims that are victims of people that don't have money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so basically you're not going to press charges. You just want some money. You know what I mean? And, like, to me, it, like, diminishes a little bit what's happening. It doesn't diminish, what happened between whatever the situation is. But I think, for like victims that, are from people that are not in a position to pay them thousands and thousands of dollars, like, it's a different situation. And I don't think they ever think about going for, like, a civil thing. It's like, yo, this person does that to me, put his ass in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no, like, I don't need your money type of thing. But unfortunately, that's what happens. And, we're going to leave it at that and update you guys when the time comes. Good luck to, that situation. And I don't know, hopefully people get justice whatever way it ends up going, right? Actually, there was a question, right? What are your thoughts on Dishon?
We basically just answered it.
Yeah, that was pretty much
the question.
What are your thoughts on Deshaun Watson's trade after the civil lawsuit?
Yeah. Did you answer that?
Oh, I guess the trade.
The trade talk. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any. Excuse me. I don't have any thoughts on the trade per se. I think I just want to see what happens once everything is over. Yeah, I think my thoughts were more on what happened with him and the allegations. The trade, I feel as though that's secondary right now.
Yeah. Actually, this question did come from Jason Marvin from Norwich, Connecticut. Another one of Barry's
shout out
boys.
to Jason. That's another one of my
so
guys.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Jason.
I think for me, like, I think the Patriots definitely not thinking about Deshaun Watson right now. You know, especially with this allegation, and
I don't think nobody is.
Well, definitely to pause in the trade.
It came out. Some teams are still interested, you know, and I saw that the Patriots were not on that list. So,
I mean, I'm sure teams are still interested, but I bet you no team is gonna make the trade until
that's over.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, he's as good as traded because, like, I don't know how he goes back to Houston. How they expect him to be their quarterback of the future. You know what I mean? Like, after that happens to him there, I think he's as good as gone, man. And, you know,
I don't see him going back there. Even before
man.
this, I didn't think he was gonna go back there, but definitely now after these allegations, he certainly won't be a Houston Texan, you know, for much longer. And by the time, you know, the next season comes, so he'll be playing quarterback, you know, elsewhere. It's just a matter of where, but like you said, it won't be a while till we find that out and we find out the result of, you know, these allegations. So I think, you know, certainly there's a pause in the, you know, talks because teams are trying to wait and see what how the situation goes. But I certainly think he'll be somewhere. I think, you know, depending on the result, I'd like to, you know, it wouldn't be mind seeing the Patriots being interested and involved in these talks and getting back into the mix.
I'd be very surprised to see the Patriots in it, especially with the situation with the owner and stuff. We don't even need to hash that out, but we know what's going on. You know what I mean?
That's true. Right.
We know what that means.
I don't know how that didn't come across my mind. That's a good point, John.
On to the Patriots free agency, where, man, I mean, it's been a free agency like we've never seen before, and you know, and it hasn't even been a week into free agency. You know, the Patriots took the league by storm, you know, but first let's update you on some news from the Patriots. Patrick Chung retired. We thought he was going to come back this year, but he has since retired from the Patriots, and, you know, he's one of the Patriots, you know, fan favorites. He was drafted by the Patriots, then he left and played for the Philadelphia Eagles for a couple of years, came back, and he grew his legend a little more here, you know, won a couple Super Bowls with the Patriots. So he's one of those, you know, safeties that's going to be remembered from the Patriots fan base for a long time. Right?
I think he won 3 Super Bowls. Was he on that 2014?
I don't remember, but I know he's won a few. I know he's won 2 at least. You know,
he won 3.
So he was on that 2014 team, right?
That's right. Good for him. Good for him.
Absolutely.
The Patriots signed their kicker from last year, and I don't think any of us will be mad at that. Nick Folk, you know, he was probably the best player on the team last year. He scored majority, like 99% of his points. You know what I mean? So he was out there doing this thing. The Patriots brought back Dietrich Wise. They brought back David Andrews, who we all thought was actually going to be gone in free agency. But I think since the Patrick Chung situation happened, bring back Andrews, you know. So
Zach had more money in the salary cap, so that came in clutch for sure.
Yeah, Donta Hightower is back in the fold. And, you know, Kyle Van Noy is also back, and he's already made like a video, you know, saying he's back. And you know,
on Twitter, I saw that.
I know a lot of Patriots fans are like, please shut up and just play the ball. You know,
We tends to talk too much. And
we don't need that boogeyman shit over here, right?
Right. Leave that in the past. Right. Just play ball.
Right. The Patriots traded Ryan Izzo to the Texans for 2022 7th-round pick. They also traded Marcus Cannon to the Texans for a 4th round and a 6th round pick. onto the free agents that the Patriots got. So since the start of free agency, the Patriots signed first tight end John Smith to a $50 million contract, $31.25 million guaranteed. The former Dolphins defensive tackle Devon Godshaw on a 2-year, $60 million contract. Former Ravens Matt Judon to a 4-year, $56 million contract, $32 million guaranteed. Former Eagles defensive back Jalen Mills to a 4-year, $24 million contract, $9 million guaranteed. Former 49ers Kendrick Bourne, he's a wide receiver. He agreed to a 3-year deal worth $22.5 million. Former Raiders wideout Nelson Aguilar, 2 years, $26 million deal. Former Packers defensive end Montravius Adams to a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. Former Dolphins linebacker Raekwon McMillan, he signed a 1-year deal. They signed another tight end, Hunter Henry, to a 3-year, $37.5 million deal. Former Jets defensive tackle Henry Anderson to a 2-year deal. And then the Patriots, Calvin Noy came back here on a 2-year, $11.88 million contract. And if that seemed like a lot of people, that's because that was a whole lot of people that we brought in a really short amount of time.
But did you mention Ted Karras?
Ted Karras,
we
signed
also brought him back
from the Dolphins.
Andrews was leaving.
Leaving, and now he's going to be the backup center. He was supposed to be our starter, and now David Andrews like, hey, I love Patriots. That's where I'm staying. So, and David Andrews actually took less money to stay with the Patriots as well, right?
That's true. And Karras can play guard too, and so he's a pretty versatile lineman and piece that have on the line. He can play multiple positions.
Right. With all that said, right, what was your initial reaction to the news? Well, I mean, I know we were texting about it, throughout the time, but what was your real reaction to it? And I think a question is, can Cam Newton bring this new constructed team to the playoffs?
Well, this was really exciting to hear and to see. We were all debating what Bill Belichick was going to do in the offseason. And I think at some point I was saying I wanted Belichick to get a lot of offensive players in the free agency and then draft a lot of defensive players in the draft, because I think he's better at drafting defensive players, and offensive players, you can get them in the league if they're already developed. But he went out and got offensive players and defensive players. He spent so much money in free agency that we've never seen before. The Patriots are a team that usually makes fun of other teams for spending an exorbitant amount of money in free agency, but this year was the Patriots. But this also just tells you how bad the team was last year. We basically had nobody on the team last year, so we had to construct a new team. I think it's beautiful. It's exciting. There's a lot of expectation that comes with spending that amount of money. People want to see what you're gonna do with it in year one, and sometimes it might take more than 1 year to actually put that team together and make it work. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Bill Belichick, a lot of pressure on even Robert Kraft, because Robert Kraft came out saying, we usually not the team that spend that much in free agency, but we felt as though we needed to.
We're in the business to win.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So do I think Cam Newton can bring this team to the playoffs? Man, if you spend that amount of money, you bring that amount of offensive powers, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, you know what I mean? And you're trying to bring all the running backs. Man, you have to make the playoffs. Like, you don't need to win the Super Bowl, but you have to make the playoffs. You went 7-9 last year. You have to win at least 3 more games. At least the minimum 3 more games, 10-6. You know what I'm trying to say? This year is 17 games, right?
They don't know yet.
Yeah, that still hasn't been confirmed.
So
So
10
right now, 16.
10-6 or 11-6, something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if Cam Newton can do it, but he better do it.
Yeah, I think it was an extremely exciting week for the New England Patriots team and fans as well. I was excited and jumping up for joy when I heard these signings and screaming at the top of my lungs, particularly when they had signed John Smith and Hunter Henry. I knew they would had a good chance to get one, but I didn't think they were gonna get both of them. And boom, what do you know? We end up getting both guys, two of the best tight ends available on the free agency market, and they're both here with the Patriots. So I'm definitely excited for that, as well as the other pieces and players that we've added to this roster that will definitely help and contribute to the team and make it a lot better than what it was last year. I certainly think that the Patriots were in a position where like you said, that they had no choice. Like, they had to spend this money, and they had to make moves and get busy, and then that's exactly what they did, because they had the second most amount of cap space. The only teams that had close amount of cap space were the Jaguars and the Jets, and they're not really gonna be able to make moves or attract as many free agents to come to their team as the Patriots could. So they were definitely fortunate, but that they were in the position that they were in, that they actually did have the money that they did to be able to go out and spend it, in the cap. And Bill Belichick was definitely blowing money fast, like Rick Ross. He was on his Rick Ross this week.
He had that stimmy.
That stimmy check came in. That's right. It came in handy and at a perfect time. Right. He definitely wasn't scared to blow that stimmy, and he certainly put it to good use, to say the least. I like how they addressed all the needs on both sides of the ball, because they addressed the defensive line and the linebacker depth, and that was a big hole on this team. So I'm glad that they got pieces to help out with that, and they certainly addressed Trung being retired, and got another safety, another defensive back that can give us more depth and help fill that void of Pat Chung retiring. And then on offense, they besides the two tight ends, they got the two receivers that should definitely be able to help us a lot on the offensive side of the ball as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to all those guys being here and seeing them play, and hope that they can contribute.
Can Newton take them to the playoffs?
Oh, can he take them to the playoffs? Whew. Damn. Shoot. He better. I mean, like, he has no excuse. We've given him weapons, because people kept making excuses for this guy. Oh, look who he's playing with. He has no talent, no receivers, no weapons. On offense, he has right, no receivers, no tight ends. Like, these guys can't get separation from a parked car.
Was that wrong, or because that was your words?
That they couldn't get separation from a parked car?
Right. That was your criticism.
I mean, they weren't wrong, but he still could have done one. So could have obviously played better himself. But now they've actually given him the talent and the weapons that he needs to be able to perform better and to play at a high level. Now it comes down to him to working, like I said, on his fundamentals and his mechanics, which was the main issue of why he didn't play as well and why he was putrid and grossly underperformed you know what I'm saying, throughout the season last year. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. He has to make the playoffs with this team. If he doesn't, then he might as well just retire and, you know, and start playing football. Because if you don't, you can put just about any quarterback in the NFL in this position, and they're at least making the playoffs. Like, put Andy Dalton in this position or Mitch Trubisky in this position, and they'd at least make the playoffs and be a wildcard team. So Cam Newton better damn well make the playoffs next season if he is the starting quarterback, which I'm still not sold he'll be the starter, because I still think they'll bring someone else that could definitely be capable of taking the job and competing for the position for him. But, yeah, if he is the guy, the starting quarterback, he has to make the playoffs. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. No more excuses and not holding this guy accountable, because I'm sick and tired of hearing it from Patriot fans.
I think for me, you know, when we were talking about how the team was kind of trash, and, you know, Bill Belichick didn't do his due diligence, and, you know, one thing I did say was that, you know, now we don't know what to expect, right? Tom Brady's not here to win all these games that, you know, I mean, coming from the back and all that stuff. And that, you know, it would be more exciting now, because now it's like not everything's a given. And Bill Belichick just did that on him, man. And, you know, it ended up on a perfect year where nobody had salary cap. I mean, there's 3 teams that had salary caps. So what the Patriots did this offseason, the Jaguars could have done, and the Colts could have done, and they didn't do shit.
I think the Jets too. The Jets, you know, had the Jets good too, cap space too,
and they didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Not a damn thing.
A Colts team that has no tight end. You know, you left the 2 best tight ends out there. You let New England get them. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I just loved every single move he made. I think we've been criticizing Bill Belichick for a year as far as, like, him being a GM. Hey, him being a GM recognized, like, hey, I wasn't doing the best job I needed to last year. And he did talk about he was strapped for cash. And as soon as we had the cash, we seen him spend more than he's ever spent before. And I feel like he's gotten –
spending that money, baby.
Yeah.
Spending that money. Yes.
He's gotten some players that actually fit the team from my account. Like, he's signed at least 10 starters just this offseason. You know, from the guys that we're bringing back to the guys that we brought in, there's at least 10 guys that are going to contribute a lot on this team, you know, starting next year. Like, this team right now, think about a Matthew Stafford. If we had all these players, do you think about going to the Rams or the Patriots now? You know what I mean? Because, like –
no, he would definitely reconsider.
Who do the Rams have?
He didn't want to come here. And so, no, the Rams got a good team. The Rams.
No, on offense, who do they have? They have Cooper Kupp.
This guy, Robert Woods. They got Cam Akers. They got the tight end Higbee.
I think he still would have went to the.
You think he still would have chose the Rams over the Patriots?
Yeah, I think he's just not.
If you have 2 of the best tight ends in the NFL, you know what I mean, and you don't need Aguilar or Bourne to, like, be 1,000 yards receivers each. You just need them. To get.
I don't like the Aguilar signing.
Really?
No.
You don't?
Why is that?
Wow.
I just don't like Aguilar. I just don't think he's a reliable receiver.
Right, because of his time in the Eagles, right?
Not just with the Eagles, even last year. I think he
last year he played pretty
well.
well.
He balled, Vlad. He was balling last year.
Did he ball? Okay, let me pull up the stats. He balled.
He balled last year.
He didn't ball last year.
He balled last year.
He did his thing last year.
He did. Like, he had over 700 yards and had like 8 TDs or something like that.
700 yard is not balling. Come on.
How much did our top receiver here have?
Oh no, he's better. He's better than anything we have. I just don't like him. Last year he had 48 receiving, 896 yards, 8 TD.
48 receiving. That's a really good
900 yards.
48 balls, you got 800 yards, bro. That's a lot of yards, bro.
800. I'll agree
That's a
with.
good season.
I'll agree with the amount of yards. 896 yards, really good. That's really good.
You know, the one thing I keep seeing about him, you know, and you know, he's not reliable. He drops a lot of passes, right? Get this, right? For the last 2 years, he's dropped 12 balls, right? The last 2 years, I believe.
Okay.
A player
mostly with the Eagles.
Yep, a player with the Patriots has had 24 drop passes in the last 2 years. You know who that is?
Edelman.
Jesus, my goodness.
Edelman, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
oh Lord, 24.
So, you know, I think we should bring back that narrative a little bit. You know, I mean, I think, you know, that
I don't
meme.
know. I'm still not a big fan of him, but we'll see.
I think that video, the guy, you know, that was shitting on Aguilar got into everybody's heads.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Vlad, you know the funny thing is, I feel like if you hear Aguilar speak, you'll be like, oh, I like that guy. Did you hear him on the interview?
No, I haven't heard him, but I don't hate Aguilar himself. I just don't think he's a reliable player. But maybe I'm wrong. I didn't know.
I thought he had slightly overpaid for him.
I thought he had.
I don't think so.
I thought he had less than 600 yards, but 896 yards is actually pretty good.
I think in a couple of years we're gonna be looking at the deal like, yo, Belichick did his thing this year because these payments, because the cap is about to go up and people are gonna get paid even more.
Oh yeah, because of the new TV deal that's coming up. That's right.
Exactly. But I think another question that we had from DJ B-Dog, you know.
My guy, DJ B-Dog.
Predictions for the upcoming season after all these moves. Will Cam Newton be the starter for the upcoming season?
Well, my prediction for the season, like I said earlier, is at least 10-6 or 11-6. 10-6 for a 16-game season, 11-6 for a 17-game season. Will Cam Newton be the starter? I do think Cam Newton will be the starter day one. I don't know if he's going to be the starter for the whole year, but day one he's definitely going to be starting.
Yeah, I definitely see this team having a record above 500. Like it's just too good of a team, not too much talent not to at least be above 500 to say the least. But I think you're right. It really comes down to the quarterback position and who they get or whoever is in that position. As far as how they perform, I think that will determine as far as what their team's record is. I'd probably say it'd be somewhere around like 9-7, 10-6. I'm still not sold on Cam Newton being the starter. I think there's they can bring in someone else. I think the starter for next year could not be here yet. So I still want to see more from Cam Newton if he's going to be the starter. But I think certainly this team's in a good position to at least have a winning record and a winning season and get back into the playoffs as long as they can get a quarterback that can, be consistent and, and be productive and get these, playmakers that we got the football. So we'll see how the season goes, but I'm definitely expecting a much better season than last year without a question.
I think my prediction is 11-5. For the Patriots, and the reason I say that is, despite Cam Newton's inefficiencies last year, we won 7 games. You know what I'm saying? And I think any other quarterback that would have came in here that wasn't like a starter from another team, I think they don't do as. I think we had Andy Dalton when we don't win 7 games. I think we have Jarrett Stidham start. All that time we don't win 7 games.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Hell no.
So with that said, Cam Newton also had COVID. You know what I mean? Cam Newton was signed less than a month before the season started. Even then, he got the starting job. There was at least 3 games where we lost the game in the last possession of the game when we could have won the game, which we could have definitely been like a 10-6 team. And that's with everything that Cam Newton had to face. we can't forget that there was a pandemic last year. We also can't forget that we played a game on like a Monday where, you know, we should have had the week off, and the NFL decided to screw us and have us play that game anyway against the Chiefs. And we almost got them with backup quarterbacks. So to me, with a full off season, you know, for Cam Newton, 2 years removed from his shoulder surgery, familiarity in the offense, Josh McDaniels learning a little bit more about Cam Newton, and then come down to the weapons. I think this team could definitely, like, with a quarterback, like, let's say, I don't know, who's a mediocre quarterback right now? You know, with a quarterback like Kyle Murray, we probably go deep into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, you know, if without the performance of Cam Newton last year, we think a lot differently about this team going into this season. So that's my prediction for the year, and I'm definitely excited about it. But that's going to be it for the NFL and the Patriots segment. On to the MLB, where discussing a little bit of Red Sox. You know, they're in spring training, and, you know, as of right now, they've made some decisions going on in the season. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be the opening day starter. They actually named like the 5 starters that's going to be starting for the team. So we'll definitely update you on the starters coming up in the following weeks. David Ortiz, you know, Big Papi, he is right now advocating for the coronavirus vaccine. And, you know, that's huge because it's not a lot of athletes that are behind it. And, you know, with athletes behind it, I think it's going to get into some people to actually go get it. And, you know, he's a highly influential person in our community. So shout outs to David Ortiz. More Red Sox news. LeBron James. Never thought I'd have the Red Sox and LeBron James mixed together, but they are right now because him and Maverick Carter, who's his business partner, are now part owners of the Fenway Sports Group, which means they're part owners of the Red Sox and Liverpool, the team in
he had
England,
he had already been part owner of Liverpool.
Of Liverpool, yeah. So now he's part of the Red Sox, and you know, he's a self-proclaimed.
They have a real estate company to it too.
Yeah.
They have a racing company on it as well. It's like 5 to 8 different companies under that group.
For real, man. And
making his money work for him.
Say anything you want about LeBron James, but he's an all-time businessman, and he's still playing in the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the time he finished playing the game, he owns a team already. You know, and he said it himself. It's going to be sooner than later, you know, and that guy, if, you know, he didn't go to college or anything like that, but you could learn a lot from LeBron James and the stuff that he's done in his business and how he's lived his life so far. So shout outs to him. And hopefully that means the Red Sox have even more money in the bank to make moves. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. I mean, they
bring on the players.
They just don't, for some reason, want to spend it. The money's there. Like, they, even before him being the owner, they've had the money. It's just they, like you said before, John, they're running this team like a small market team, as if they're the Tampa Bay Rays. When no, we're the Boston Red Sox. We have one of the biggest payrolls in the MLB. Like, we have the bread. Like, we can give people the bags. Like, get talent in here that can
give them 2 bags.
Make the team better. Exactly. Even we can afford that. Exactly.
No, that's a fact.
Like, they need to do what Bill Belichick's doing. Stop making money moves and blowing that money fast. Stop.
Give them the stimulus, man. Give them the stimulus.
Right. Yeah, put that stimulus check to use.
Yeah, man. So shout outs to LeBron James, man. And hopefully he does some good things for the franchise. That's it for the MLB and the Red Sox. On to the NHL. The Bruins, their next 2 games have been postponed due to COVID-19 protocols. They've won their last 2 games. One of those games, one of their rookies started in the game and played well, and Jake DeBrusk is back on the lineup. So, you know, we'll update you guys on what's happening with the Bruins when they get back. to action. You know, as of right now, they're on a little hiatus. They should have played a couple games in the last couple of days, but they haven't. So, you know, COVID-19, it is what it is, and I'm glad they're handling it that way. And on to our last segment, man. You know, the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, and I think Barry has a good one this week. Who you got?
Yeah. So we got the, one of the stars, or arguably the star of the March Madness tournament, the, NCAA men's, college basketball tournament that has been going on, this past week. We've seen a lot of upsets, and one of the, teams that were, that ended up pulling off an upset was University of Ohio, and one of the, players on there who, to me is the best player in my opinion, certainly, caught my attention, and enough to actually make him, qualified and, recognized as the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, and that is Jason Preston, the guard from, the point guard from Ohio University. So cool story about him was that he was not highly recruited at all, only got one offer from University of Ohio. That was the only team that actually gave him any sort of deals or a scholarship to, come and play for them. And he even had to make his own, highlight tape and, post it, on the internet for, teams to see it, since he did not have anyone else to make it for him. And, and he certainly has shined and has played really well in that game against the University of Virginia, which they did upset. He played all 40 minutes. He was 2 assists away from a triple-double, so he had 11 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. So that's a pretty good game. He was impact, filling up the stat sheet and pulling out, and impacting the game in multiple ways, like good players do, and he certainly did that. And he had also lost his, his mother. Just recently passed away, so condolences to him and his family. And he even, dedicated that, game and that win to his mother, and he was asked about that in his interview at the, end of the game, and he had said that when he saw the clock go 3-2-1 at the end of the game, that all he could think about was his mother. His mother, was on his mind as the game ended, and he wanted to, get the win and do this for her, which he certainly did. So he was also, I believe, the conference player of the year this year. So he, had a really good season and played really well, throughout the whole year, even coming up to the March Madness tournament. So I think, it's just really cool to see, a young kid like that overcome adversity and to, have that kind of perseverance and that dedication, and, be that driven to be able to, still go after his dreams and make his dream come true, and to, to still go out there and do his thing at a big stage like the March Madness tournament. So definitely big, shout out to Jason Preston on being this week's B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week. And that's definitely that B Money Lifestyle.
Yes, sir. Jason Preston, man, shout out to him. That's a kid I admire.
For sure, like me said, too. After hearing his story, now I'm inspired by his story. That was really, motivational without question.
For real, man. And good luck to him and his team for the rest of the tournament, man. And
Yeah, I
hopefully
think they just lost to Creighton. I just
Oh.
saw that they just played Creighton and they ended up losing, unfortunately. So they came up short. But I mean, shoot, at least they won a game against a really good team like Virginia. I know Virginia was going through some COVID issues, but I mean, nonetheless, they were still, beat them, and Virginia was a top 4 seed in their bracket. So that was still an impressive and big win for them, and he certainly played very well in that game. So
yeah, man,
big shout out to him.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, he could get a TV deal now, right? From that story, he made it. That's a Cinderella story right there. So, with that said, man, we're gonna wrap up our 1-year anniversary show.
Yes, we did it, guys.
If you've been rocking with us, man, thank you, for doing this all year. You've been listening to us, been supporting. We appreciate you. And, until next time, man, this was episode 53 of